Hi there, this is Solitary Ronan from Solitary Ronan Films and welcome to our random review. Today's random review was almost my film of the year. It's Claude Berry's TCHAO PANTIN, or So Long Stooge from 1983. With the exception of maybe Bandits of Orgo Solo and of course Planet of the Vampires, but I've seen Planet of the Vampires many times before. This might be the best Radiance of the year. This is a truly wonderful film, directed by Claude Berry, who's probably more famous for Jean de Florette and Man in the Source and Germinal. From 1983, it was a big hit in France, but I had never heard of it, and this is the first Blu-ray release outside of France for the film, as far as I know. As usual with Radiance, you get the little sleeve and then you get the booklet and reversible artwork. This is a 4K restoration. It looks really beautiful. It's approved by the cinematographer Bruno Nuten. There's a 52-minute piece on the making of the film from 2003, and there's a new 2024 introduction by scholar and French cinema expert Dr. Michael Abyssikassis. Yeah, this is pretty much a neo-noir, but it's actually a low-key Bushido film as well. The Radiance releases region A and B, so you've got no excuse wherever you are to pick up a copy of it, because it's absolutely fantastic. It stars Coluche, who was a comedian and musician turned actor who died about 3 years after the film was made in a motorbike accident. At one point apparently he was going to run for president in France, and he follows a long line of comedians who just give brilliant dramatic performances. Certainly in this film he's absolutely fantastic. So it's a fairly simple story, but I'm not going to go into too much detail, as it's a relatively new film, certainly to me and possibly to many people watching this video, but probably not, because you're all very experienced and learned and cosmopolitan in your film taste, of course. So Coluche plays a character called Lambert, who does the night shift in a petrol station in Paris. He doesn't really interact with people. He's got a drinking problem, and he comes across this character called Ben Susan, who seems to turn up in different forms of bike every night, from a pedal bike to mopeds to motorbikes, and they kind of strike up not necessarily a friendship, but they allow each other to be in each other's space, put it like that. And Ben Susan is a small-time drug pusher, and he meets Lola, who is a member of a kind of punk gang, and they kind of have a spiky relationship, if you pardon the pun. And then in the good old-fashioned plot mechanics, things happen, and Lambert gets more involved in Ben Susan's world and has to make a decision to go deeper into that world, involving Lola, who again he ends up having somewhat of a kind of spiky relationship with as well. These are characters that we don't really see in films that often. These are the low level people that kind of get forgotten about, and it's one of those, the relationships in the film are very, they'll shout at each other as a method of telling each other that they actually care, but they can't actually express that without kind of shouting at each other, basically. The film is a spiritual successor to the Melville films as far as how Paris is kind of shot, but it's not really the neon, it's constantly raining. It's one of those films that could really be shot in smell-o-vision. There's a palpable disillusionment, a palpable kind of decline from those. I mean, Melville's films were melancholy, like Bob Le Flambeur, but then you've got Louis Malle's Lift to the Scaffold, which again could be an ancestor of So Long Stooge or TCHAO PANTIN, or PANTIN. It's, again, I'm not going to go into the details of the plot, but the themes are of kind of the past that you try and forget, coming back to remind you of the past. Again, time heals nothing. Don't get it twisted. Time heals nothing. And about regret and guilt. I mean, the regret and guilt and fatalism, which is probably why I love the film so much, hangs in the air and reeks from the garbage on the streets. And as I said, it's a sneaky Bushido film. At times Lambert talks about, being dead already, but he wants to see the things that he gets involved with through, even though he's dead already. So it's a great fatalistic film, which again is really up my alley. And again, it just has that. I mean, again, it could have been shot in black and white because it is with its ancestors in that French neo-noir melancholy, but the kind of rainy, murky colour really suits the atmosphere, and this sense of people caught up in the maelstrom of hopelessness, and there is no easy way out or easy answers to their solution, or there is no solution to their problems. It's just a wonderful film. I mean, it starts off slowly because they're not characters that jump off the screen and say, "Oh, please like me because I'm quirky, please like me, because I'm beautiful," or anything like that. These are kind of ugly characters, but certainly in Lambert's case, You kind of want to find out more about him, as does Ben Susan, and Lola to an extent as well. And slowly the pieces are revealed to you. But again, there's no flashbacks, there's no kind of exposition. The little tidbits of information about Lambert's past are slowly given to you at the same time as the other characters find out about him. It's just it's one of those beautiful ugly films, but again, the sense of fatalism, the Bushido feel to the film just really put it over the top for me. So it's maybe not my film of the year. It's not perfect, but it's not far off. But for me, it's the Radiance film of the year. It's that good. It's kind of a shaggy dog story, if you like, but it's just done with such panache. I mean, there is black humour in it, but it's not overplayed, and the ending is correct. You know, there's different ways the ending could have went, and I was kind of sitting with my fingers crossed, but the ending does go the way it really ought to have went. So it's another Radiance gem. As I said, for me, it's probably the Radiance release of the year, or the film of the year. It's just absolutely wonderful, and I would highly recommend checking it out. So thanks very much for watching this random review of TCHAO PANTIN, or So Long Stooge. Please let me know if you've seen the film yet and what you think of it, and hopefully join me again for more random reviews. This is Solitary Ronin from Solitary Ronin Films, saying farewell.